Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Maggie. And welcome to the M&M Debrief, the podcast where Mike and Maggie discuss the top stories in politics and sports and try to make sense of the headlines. Mike, do we have any follow ups from the last episode?
I have a couple of follow-ups. The GCC, which is the group of countries that are on the Arabian Peninsula there, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, etc. I think I've been referring to GCC as a Gulf Coast Council. It's actually the Gulf Cooperation Council. I just want to get that
Glad to know
right.
they're cooperating.
Well,
Sorry. That's, oh,
Actually
yeah.
actually, that's a great topic. They
Yeah,
they they
right.
they they hate each other, actually,
Right.
but
That's,
I just wanted to get the name right, so I'm just gonna call it GCC from now on, but it's actually it's the Gulf Cooperation Council.
that is
Yeah, no,
funny. That
no,
is very
actually,
funny.
we might do have to do a deep dive on that. They hate each other, but they're called the Gulf Cooperation Council, so
That is funny.
that's like I've said in the past that the United States of America is the most incorrectly named country on the planet because
Yes,
we are anything but united.
I'd say.
Anyway, that's a whole 'nother deep dive, but,
Yes.
anyway, and then the slush fund. We talked about the $1.8 billion
Mhm.
slush fund, which, is one of the 2 or 3 things that has basically united the country because everybody
Mhm.
hates it. Some states are starting to fight back, and so,
I love it.
a number of states are passing legislation to charge 100% state tax on any money that is received from the slush fund.
Well,
So I
good
know
for them. And and if the feds also charge their regular rate of tax, then they'll actually owe money.
I'll actually owe money, yes.
They'll be in the
So
negatives. Okay.
right. Yeah, I know Wisconsin is about to pass something. Pretty for sure California is charging something. So
Well,
uh,
good for them.
yeah, there's a growing states are fighting back. We what did we mention? What was it last week that we mentioned about how the states are kind of
Oh,
fighting back?
Hawaii,
Yeah, Hawaii about what
Citizens
the
United.
yeah what a corporation can actually do, and is specifically saying if you form a corporation in this state, you cannot contribute to political campaigns and stuff. So the states
I love
are
it.
fighting back. So maybe this is an indication that the system's actually working, and
Well,
it's
that's very cool.
annoying for some things, but maybe there's other ways, people get creative and stuff. So
I love it.
anyway, yeah. So if you were part of the January 6th insurrection and you live in Wisconsin, don't even bother because you're gonna lose all your money anyway. So
Mhm.
all right, so let's go to the war. I don't even want to call it the war, the Iranian war. I think
Is
it's
it the long-standing ceasefire?
I think it's the Iranian ceasefire. We should
Is
start to.
it Yeah, is it the "I'm gonna stare at you and you're gonna stare at me and we'll see who blinks first"?
Well, the Koreans have been staring at each other for, 60 years? Yeah, the North Korea and South Korea are still at war with each
They
other
must
for
have dry eye. Yeah, no,
so
seriously.
they must be getting annoyed. Anyway, so in the Iranian ceasefire news, the, US, last week we mentioned, the PGSA, the Persian Gulf Strait Authority, which is actually the area around the Persian Gulf there. The US has said they're going to sanction the PGSA, so whatever money they collect, they will try to sanction. Although the US sanctioning stuff is becoming less and less of a thing because more and more countries are just going around America. You got the SWIFT system and other the petrodollar and all this other stuff where the US had control over the dollar.
Right.
That's becoming less of a thing. So if Scott Bessent comes out and says, "Yeah, we're going to sanction the PGSA," there, and that's not the Professional Golf Association, by the way. That's the Persian Gulf Trade Association. People are just looking around, going, "So what? We'll just pay in crypto or Chinese yuan or euro or whatever," and people are going to care less. But anyway,
Mhm.
my point is this is a real thing, and because the U.S. is going after it, it
Right,
proves to me that this is actually a real thing now.
right.
What it's actually gonna look like later on, I don't know, but anyway, that's
But,
what's going.
basically Trump and their policy and their decisions on Iran basically have brought this about. It's their own fault.
One thing about the Strait of Hormuz, as long as we're talking about it,
Mhm.
everybody keeps talking about how it's international waters, but if you just kinda do the math, every country has territorial waters, like, I think it
Right.
is, which is, like, 13 and a half miles.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, you're right.
yeah, anyway, so you've got Oman on one side and, Iran on the other, and that's over 21. The Strait of Hormuz is only 21 miles wide, so there is no international waters is my
It
point.
literally does belong to them,
It literally
legally.
does belong to them, and they're starting to do business together, so anything you hear about international waters and safe travel, that's BS for that part of the country. That is Iranian and Omanian territorial waters, and they can do whatever the hell they want or whatever they can. Obviously,
Mhm.
you still have to have the force to enforce things, but that's not international waters, is my point.
Got it.
So, let me see. There was a U.S. tanker that tried to get out of the Strait of Hormuz by turning off its transponder and just sort of scooting out of
Just kinda sliding
kind of
quietly.
sliding out. And the issue with the strait has been more about insurance. These ships have not been
Yeah.
able to get insurance, so they can't move.
Right,
But
they
this
go ahead, yep.
Yeah, but this was more of a show of force because the IRGC just said, "Hey, dude, we see you. I know we see you trying to scoot out of here. We're gonna shoot you down. We're gonna sink you unless you retreat." And they did. So my point is, it was more of a direct threat as opposed to the ship just going, "Oh shit, I don't have insurance. I can't. If I get sunk or
They were
abused here."
testing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they did. This US tanker kinda backed off and stayed, I
Okay,
guess.
fine,
So
fine.
they're starting to apply some force here, I guess,
Hmm.
or potential force.
They're demonstrating there's some teeth behind their
Right, and they've shown with the bombing of
Mhm,
the other GCC states and Israel and also shooting down American planes that, they got some spunk, so I think
mhm.
the tanker took it for real and like, "Okay, these guys are really gonna sink us if we try to go here." So
Right.
or they really probably will sink us. All right. I'm hearing some scuttlebutt about the Iranian funds being released. I want to say $25 billion in Iranian funds have been frozen. I don't know exactly where it's frozen in American banks or maybe in European banks. And
Mhm.
part of any ceasefire deal, the Iranians obviously want their money back. But if the U.S. gives it back to them, they're going to look bad. So
Right, because Trump has been complaining and bitching about Obama doing that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And it
exactly.
was only 1.8 billion.
Right, yeah, so, yeah, the only thing Obama did was just release funds that were already part of.
Already there, right.
Right, so, obviously, Trump doesn't wanna look weak by giving them money, so what he's trying to do is get these other GCC states to give Iran the money, and then with the promise of paying them back, kind of a
Right.
backdoor type deal,
You
and
give it to
which
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which and they've contacted Qatar and said, "Hey, can you maybe send 12 billion to Iran and then we'll pay you back later on." And I don't know what the Qatarians are gonna do, but I wouldn't trust
But
America as far as I can throw it,
right.
frankly, if I was Qatar. But so they're
But
trying
now the
some.
cat's out of the bag, right?
Yeah, now the
So,
cat's out of the bag. Now
we
everybody.
all know, "You idiot, we see
Yeah.
what you're doing. You're just having Qatar give them the money instead of you
Right.
because 'cause you're an
The
idiot." Okay.
Yeah, right. So they're trying a lot of backdoor ways to get a deal done. Say we're in the official memorandum of understanding or it's whatever it is. We're not going to say this, but behind closed doors, you're going to get your money back this way, and yada yada. It's negotiation, diplomacy.
Mhm.
Who knows? But they're trying all kinds of stuff like this to kind of get some deal done, and then this is not the Iran war. We still have another war with Ukraine and Russia going on, and
Mhm.
that's not for America to care about. Except we're sort of backing Ukraine. We were for a
Well, we
while.
were. Yeah.
I don't know anymore. We backed them enough to keep them alive for a couple years, and now the Ukrainians are more in bed with the Europeans, which is probably the way we would prefer it. But so Russia sent some drones into Romania
Mm.
couple of days ago. So they are. I don't know what the end game is here. It's to try. Romania is in NATO, I believe.
Yeah,
So
didn't they send a drone in that blew up an apartment
and then
building?
an apartment building, yeah.
Yeah,
And so they
that's
are
crazy. I mean, you
yeah,
can't do that.
yeah, I am trying to figure out what the reasoning is. They must on one hand, you think they're desperate and they're trying to get what would
Yeah,
they I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to accomplish here.
right. I don't know. I haven't heard any response from Russia about it either.
Yeah, I don't know what the relationship is with the Ukrainians and the Romanians. Romania is 2 countries over from Ukraine, so Russia had to
Oh,
send a drone over Ukraine, over Moldova, I think it is, and then into Romania, and I don't know what the end game is here for this, but they did shoot another
uh,
country. Maybe
right. And I believe Romania is part of NATO, and I believe NATO responded, like, objected, right?
yeah, right, so
But
maybe that's what Russia's trying to do. They wanna see,
I
okay,
I
is
thi
NATO actually going to
yeah,
do something? Just how tough is NATO? Maybe that's what they're doing.
yeah, see what NATO would
Right,
do.
and if NATO just sends a strongly worded memo, then Russia knows, okay, NATO is shit. They're not gonna, US is part of NATO. They're supposed to respond with what is it,
Well,
Article 5.
right.
So if nothing happens, then Russia's going, okay, NATO is weak, and we'll do whatever the hell we want, and it's gonna take a hot minute for them to go back into the Baltic states, probably, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. Maybe
Right.
they'll go into Poland. And because they know, NATO's not gonna
What
do anything.
what I number 2, I think maybe he's wondering if Trump would say or do anything,
Mm.
right?
I didn't hear anything out of the White House
Not a
about it.
word.
Not a peep.
Not a word. Who knows?
We're
Maybe something happened
we're
behind closed doors, but I haven't
yeah.
heard a thing. I understand that Putin might be really on his heels right now, and to your point, desperate. And this could also potentially be a last fling, as part of his, maybe he's coming to terms with the fact that he's actually not winning. And, Ukraine has the upper hand. And Ukraine is now, with their drone technology, of more value to America. And so I think the tide is turning a little bit, you know? And I
Mhm.
wonder if the Romanian drone attack was just this, last hurrah of Putin, who is losing and needing to feel good about himself.
Yeah, I think, Ukraine might actually be one of the better investments America has made. So Joe
Yeah.
Biden helped them out, got them going. Now out of
Can we make
desperation,
Zelensky
well, yeah, they're accelerating their, application to the EU.
good?
And NATO as well. But yeah, they're helping some of the GCC countries with drone technology, and
Good.
they are the leading experts on how to make these drones.
God.
Yeah, so
Isn't that like a TED Talk? How do you get really good at a new
yeah, but
technology?
the
Get it tech by
necessity,
Russia. Okay.
yeah, necessity is the mother of invention. And
Honestly.
they don't Ukraine doesn't have a lot of actual battle tanks and stuff, so but they are actually starting to retake some territory.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's some sort of a point here with Russia. If I had a bet, I'd bet I don't wanna say collapse, but, some sort of breakdown or reorganization of Russia or something. I'd go in the
Things
negative
gonna
side,
happen because you can't lose like this and still I think
you
Putin
know?
might be on his way out. Don't you
Yeah.
think?
I do, but you never know. They are Russian. They're pretty they persevere a
Mm,
little more than you would think. And, I think, Russia is where, military campaigns go to die. Just ask the Nazis, just ask Hitler,
right,
and ask Napoleon how well he did with Russia.
right.
But the good news is the Ukrainians are real similar to the Russians, so they're pretty tough too.
They've
So
amazing. They're amazing.
yeah, yeah. Just watch. You ever watch the movie The Italian Job? They just never mess with never mess with the MF and Ukrainians. So all right. I don't know. That's is there anything else? I don't have any more ceasefire stuff. I don't know
There's
if
some
I.
interesting things happening. It's kind of fun to see the chess pieces move across the board.
Yeah, yeah, the dynamics of what's gonna happen. There'll
Mhm.
be some breaking point. Exactly. there'll be some black swan. I'm trying to figure out what exactly it's gonna be, but
Right.
alright. Alright. Domestic. I need domestic. I got any more war issues? We can get the domestic issues here.
We'll jump into domestic. It's a Friday.
Yeah, so I saw this survey from the new Jewish Voter Resource Center, but this is a U.S. survey. I know it's a
Huh?
Jewish Voter Center, but this is 50% of U.S. Jews are anti-Zionists, which I think is friggin' astronomical, frankly. They ain't happy either with what their own fellow Jewish people are doing there in it.
Right.
61%, yeah, 61% believe Israel has committed war crimes, and 39% believe Israel has committed genocide in Gaza.
Wow.
So that is, like I just said, I think that's stunning, frankly.
Right. Because you thought it was going to be a much lower number.
Yeah, I thought it would be a lot lower number, but
'Cause obviously, you assume there would be such love and devotion for
yeah.
Israel and the homeland, but I think this is really hopeful, just again showing the fact that Israel is Israel and American Jewish people are just like every other American, where you have some that are on the right and some that are more on the left, and
Mhm.
and I think it's very optimistic to see that so many believe that Israel is doing things that it really shouldn't be doing, and that it's, you know, just overly aggressive against against obviously Gaza, etc.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna just actually take a different tack here. I wonder what it must be like going to synagogue in the morning, where you know that half the people that you're sitting beside, actually maybe think differently than you. So the same kind of challenges that we have with our own neighbors, like I said, you don't know if your next door neighbor is someone who's MAGA or not. You just kind of keep your mouth shut. The same way it must be to be someone who's Jewish and maybe is practicing, and you just don't know, whether someone is a little bit more to the right or to the left. So
Yeah, it's a good analogy. My half of my fellow citizens are MAGA. I am not MAGA, but
right,
so still we still go to the same restaurants, go to watch movies, and we cheer
right,
for the same sports teams. So,
right.
yeah, but
Like a little empathy, I guess. I'm just. It must be
right,
hard for them.
right, yeah, the Jewish community is probably the same way, like
Yeah.
they go to the same synagogue, all this stuff, but they're perfectly fine with what Israel is doing, and you're looking at Israel going, "What the hell are you doing?" I don't know, weird dynamic, I guess.
Yeah.
So I heard a rumor. This is only a rumor. So the scuttlebutt is that Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice, may actually get indicted for tax fraud in the state of Virginia.
Wow.
He lives in Fairfax, Virginia, I believe. Now that's just a rumor, no truth, but
Is it because of all those gifts he keeps getting from that billionaire?
yeah, I mean, I got serious issues with Sam Alito as well, but Clarence Thomas is, I would say, unabashedly accepts gifts. The Supreme Court has no ethic rules, by the way, all the other Congress and
Yeah, that's gotta
the executive committee, the executive branch, but the Supreme Court has no ethics laws. Go figure, and so there's definitely got to be reforms on the judicial branch between term limits and ethics laws. That's for sure. But this is another example of the states fighting back. It's like, okay, fine, you're gonna go be on the Supreme Court for life
Mm,
and make a lot of decisions that people hate. Well, we'll come after you. The state of Virginia
yeah.
just elected. I think they just elected a Democratic governor in the last year, but they're going, hey man, he's a Virginia resident, and he's committing tax fraud. He's accepting whatever, So
Right.
it's just a rumor, just a rumor.
Well, it would be really great. So, why isn't Chief Justice Roberts doing more to keep his people in line?
Well, he's accepting bribes too. There is his wife is accepting that him and his wife just bought a nice house. I forget where they live. Chevy Chase, Maryland, or whatever, because
Yeah.
he's doing the same thing. His wife is getting. We talked about this a while ago. His wife is getting stuff on the side here, so he's doing the same thing. There's an arrogance there. I'm sure you're appointed for life.
You're above the law.
You're above the law. So I don't know.
Are they literally above the law? Okay.
They
Um,
might be.
they
They
might
just
I
they
just said
they just where are you gonna go? Yeah,
yeah,
where are you gonna go above the Supreme Court?
right,
They just ruled a couple years ago that the president was above the law. So
right.
I don't know.
Alright.
Anyway, and then I guess the big thing, I don't know if it's big, but the White House is gonna host a UFC cage match at the White House next month, or well, it's gonna be June on Monday.
Tacky,
So
tacky, tacky.
it's just so if you've seen pictures of the White House, they're putting the whole thing up, but just a historic picture of the White House, and there's this monstrosity, gaudy monstrosity of a UFC cage match. I don't know whatever, gonna be outside, and my stomach is turning here. I cannot believe what I'm seeing, but
I is this I mean, didn't Trump have this car show of, Teslas for Elon Musk because
yeah,
his sales were going down at one point, so he was there promoting his cars at the White House. Again, tacky, 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 you know?
yep,
Have some
yeah.
class, really.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the wonderful rose garden put together by Jackie Kennedy, and now it's
It was
cement
paved
and
over. Yeah.
paved over. The what is it? The reflecting pool.
They're still having problems with it,
They're
honey.
they're screwing that up. They're gonna have the weigh-in. The weigh-in for this is gonna be at the Lincoln Memorial, I believe. So they gotta weigh in the fighters before they fight. They're gonna have that at the Lincoln Memorial. I mean, Abraham freaking Lincoln Memorial, and they're gonna have a weigh-in for jeez, I don't know. I mean, I'm all for
Somebody's
fights.
turning over in their grave, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big sports fan. I used to like boxing back in the '80s when all the great middleweights were going there. So I
Yeah.
understand sports, but my God, at the White House. Never mind. Anyway, I don't know how much tickets are. Maybe we ought to get tickets and kind of see who we can see, honey. What do you think?
Would we get a press pass? Do we qualify as
We're
the
independent
press?
journal. We're independent journalists, honey. We
We could
should be
do
able to do it.
that, maybe. I don't know. Do they
Maybe.
still
Yeah.
have to pay? I'm just sure they do.
Yeah. I don't know. We could do a reporting
Let's look
on it.
let's look into it, let's see.
See if we can get a free trip to, or not a free trip, but, at
We have
least
to pay our own
free
way and stuff, but we would get in, right?
free tickets.
Because 'Cause we're the press. I'm just kidding.
We're the pre yeah, we're the press. Yes,
Do I
exactly.
get a jacket with the big P on it like in the okay.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, used to say press on it, yeah, so
Mhm.
alright, I don't know, you got anything else for, domestic issues, honey?
No, I'm good. I got enough domestic issues.
Yeah, let's see, on our business, we got a short business section today. We could talk about the stock market, maybe why it keeps going up despite the impending doom here. I think we may have touched upon it earlier. I just got the thing we want to talk the gas at our local gas station is actually going down a little bit. It's under $5. It's been that way for
Telling ya, it's
I don't
because what we keep reporting it every week, honey.
yeah, I'm sure the owner of the BP over there in the corner is listening to our podcast.
No, no, it's BP International. They're like, "Damn it, we gotta lower the price."
And Mike and Maggie are all over us. So
Yeah.
so the simple answer would be is, supply and demand. So the supply goes up because they're draining the strategic petroleum reserves. So there's actually a little more temporarily a little more supply. So the price goes down.
Well, there's just no everybody's gaming the system,
We're all
and right
gaming the
now
system.
there's talk about the ceasefire and, if Trump says, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna have I think it's looking good. I think we're gonna come to an agreement," then the price goes down you know,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
then he
Yeah,
bombs them again, and then it goes back up. I mean, it's just
yeah,
somebody's making money out of it. It's not you and I.
yeah. Maybe there's some. I haven't seen anything about tax freezes for the Illinois or for federal tax suspension. I don't know. So anyway, it is what it is. So
All right.
let me see. All right, I'm gonna go straight to our final topic. What I saw, don't be surprised section unless you got anything else, hon.
No, I do not.
Right. What I have seen, a CIA agent, David Rush, I think his name is, just got
Rush? Are you kidding? Keep going.
Rush. Yeah, he got arrested because he stole 300 bars of gold from the CIA, worth
It's
at
the
least
gold rush.
400 million. Yeah, those gold bars are pretty heavy. So he's got 300 of them in his house.
One at a time. I wonder where he
Yeah.
found it.
Well, this guy's got a pretty dicey employment record. He actually lied on his application to get into the CIA, so the standards of the CIA are diminishing. I mean, you can't even get a decent background check from the CIA. That'll tell you everything about the state of affairs. But they arrested a CIA agent for having 300 bars of gold that he stole from the CIA. He had like $2 million in cash, like 50 Rolex watches worth 400 million. Not the
Wow.
watches. The gold is worth 400 million.
I would love to find out how he did that.
I haven't looked into the details, but he lied, probably lied. And the standards are below. Nobody cares. Nobody's
Yeah,
paying
but still,
attention.
he became an agent, and then as an agent, he was able to steal 300 bars of gold and all
So
of this.
somehow, why didn't they catch him after one? That's,
Yeah, and where would you
yeah.
even get 300 bars of gold?
Yeah,
Fort Knox?
there's,
I mean,
yeah, I don't quite know the mechanics of that, but anyway, they caught him. So, all right. So, and speaking of criminals, apparently there's another Google employee who got busted for inside information and betting on Polymarket. We had something a few weeks ago about a army soldier who was betting on the outcome of one of the military operations.
right.
And then apparently a Google employee is getting inside information and was making some bets on, I don't know if it's Polymarket or Kalshi, and he got arrested as well. So this is more about the crime report than it is about anything else. So
Honest
more and more people, and it's not just government people. There's plenty of people who work, with computers where some of this stuff is being held, and they have access, and they're finally getting busted.
mm. I just don't think how you couldn't, use insider training on these sites for predictive markets. I just don't understand how it can be honest, I guess.
Yes, you've got an employee who's got access to this data on the cloud, and he starts reading through this shit. It's like, oh yeah, I'll go to Kalshi and see if I can make a bet on it. And so, whatever. All
Mm.
right. Something that was kind of a bummer is yesterday, a Blue Origin, which is a competitor to SpaceX, private space
Isn't it
exploration.
Bezos owns it?
Maybe. I don't know
I
who.
think he does.
Maybe it is. Anyway, there's a massive explosion on takeoff
Oh,
of.
yes, it was Bezos, and yes, it did blow up. Yes,
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the video. This is astronomically
I did not.
awful explosion right at takeoff. It's not like the Challenger,
Bummer.
where it was
Right,
flying.
but
Like, as
nobody
soon as
got
it,
hurt.
I don't think anybody got hurt.
Nobody got hurt, but
But
still, it's
so if you want
too
some
bad.
competition in this area, you're gonna want Blue Origin to succeed because the only thing we got left then is SpaceX with Elon Musk. So if you're interested in some at least competition, you would want the Blue Origin to succeed. Now
Right.
SpaceX had plenty of problems back in the beginning, so I assume Blue Origin will hopefully recover from this and will learn something the next time. But
Right.
if you're interested in huge fiery explosions, get on YouTube and type in a Blue Origin explosion. And
Yeah.
so,
Didn't they have William Shatner took him on a trip on Blue
uh,
Origin?
yeah,
Just like
yeah,
a
William,
little up and
yeah,
down?
yeah, William Shatner definitely went into space. I don't know, the whole thing they did with the celebrities, what
Yeah.
was like barely space. It just sort of got up
Yeah,
and
just
then
basically
popped
it got
over.
yeah,
Yeah, it didn't actually get out of Earth's gravitational pull or whatever.
right.
But yeah, William Shatner went up and came down and made it, just like Katy Perry, and I'm not sure who else, all the other celebrities that went.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much they paid, but and then the last thing I saw was, this is kind of a sidebar, but there was a report about how many shipwrecks there are in the world. So Titanic, Andrea Doria, all the ships from all the
Mhm.
wars that we've had. Apparently, there's 8,500
Wow.
shipwrecks on the world's oceans, and they are spewing 20.4 metric tons of oil into the water. This is the sum total of all the wrecked ships, the Japanese wrecked ships, American, in World War
Yeah.
II, everything that got sunk in all the wars and other, cru
Lusitania, all of
Lusitania,
them. Yeah.
cruise ships, and they are spewing over 20 metric tons of oil into the oceans. So as a comparison, the Deepwater Horizon, which you remember, they made a movie about it, but all the oil that got spewed out of that thing for,
Wow.
2 months or whatever it was before they fixed it is 0.44 metric tons. So,
Right,
I don't know if you
right.
saw the video that 8 years ago or whenever it was, then all the oil is just pumping out of there, and they finally got it tapped. It put less than 1 metric ton total,
Wow.
whereas these ships are 20 times as much.
But
It's
they're not
refer
continuing to spew that oil, like, that's the cumulative total of
Well,
all the
yeah.
oil.
Well, they still are, sort of. I mean, like the Arizona the USS Arizona at Pearl Harbor is still, pumping up oil,
Really?
burbling oil up out of there as kind of a monument. I think they refer to it as black tears, I think. So, yeah, so all this oil is still coming out. Potentially polluting wrecks. That's what they call PPW.
Wow.
Not sure if this is how much of an issue this is gonna end up being, but, all these shipwrecks, I find it interesting, so I thought I'd bring it up that all these
Yeah,
shipwrecks are still
right.
spewing oil here over, so
Wow.
maybe it'll be okay, maybe the oil will dissipate over the ocean and everything will be okay, but, it seemed interesting.
Yeah,
8,500 total shipwrecks over the
that's
modern history.
modern history, right, but that's a lot of shipwrecks. Wow.
Yep, yep, so, I don't know, so that's all I got on. We got a abbreviated episode here.
Not that abbreviated, babe.
What are we at, 35 minutes, 37 minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, pretty much standard, so we're good.
So the week after Memorial Day, kinda quiet, summer's starting. Got any other topics you wanna talk about?
No. I think, I think, like I was mentioning, I've had a busy week, but, I would like us to do some deep dives, we talked about that, and I'm looking forward to that because I would really enjoy, like, studying up on a topic and having a really cool conversation on it, so
Yeah, we may change the, format a little bit and maybe just do some bullet points, but then take 10 or 15 minutes about
yeah,
some deeper topic to kinda talk
yeah,
about
something to
some.
explore,
Mhm.
I think I would enjoy that a lot.
Yep.
I would learn a lot myself too,
Mhm.
just talking to you about it, so that'd be
Yep.
great. Cool beans. So I guess that's it. That's all we have for today. Again, please follow, subscribe, or share. We're on YouTube as well as Spotify and Apple. So thank you.
Thank you for listening to episode 15.
Yeah, we're excited. We're getting up there. 15 episodes, honey.
We're getting
Thank
there,
you
yeah.
all.
Alright, take care.
Goodbye.